begin?
Yes, please.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Game Breakdown Podcast, the podcast where we talk about... No, wait, that's not what we say, is it? What do we say? Where we break down lots of different games.
I think we say we break down games, apparently.
We've been... Yeah, we do that.
Sort of.
Well, the podcast will be break down games then, fine. It's been a busy week. Whatever we do. Hi everyone, we hope you're having a good week, good weekend, whatever. Oh my god, I've gone brain dead. Okay, it's been a really bizarre week and a busy one. We've been doing a lot of things this week, haven't we?
We have, yeah. We've definitely got the ball rolling with where we are now on the internet.
We have. We've definitely made our mark, shall we say? Or started to make our mark.
Yeah, we've sort of started to get the ball rolling. So we're now like pretty much up and running almost on the YouTubes. There's just a few more videos that we need to get out, which will be coming shortly in the future. We also did, which is really exciting, our first sort of stream on Twitch.
Which
was fun.
Twitch.
But the setup was not so fun. Even though you're the one that set it all up. Like, I'll let you take the stand for this, because I just went to eat some food and left you to it, so...
You did, and, like, I feel like including a screenshot with this, like, audio recording somewhere. So, you've streamed quite a few times, haven't you? You had your own streaming channel, and you've done, like, your own streaming channel. You've streamed on Twitch, like, quite a few times. Obviously, I've never streamed at all. So, we decided that we were going to stream together and play a game, and we thought about playing the Resident Evils. Like we said before, we wanted to play Resident Evil 4 on Code Veronica. That didn't quite work out because reasons, logistical reasons. So we thought that we would play a PS1 game instead because that would be easier. And we thought we'd throw it back and play the game that we want remade the most, Croc, which was going to be fine. We're like, no problem, we can get Croc up and running, I can get that going, it's fine. So in the end, having to have my camera, your camera, my audio, your audio, the game playing, the game audio, whilst streaming all of that, whilst having a conversation over Discord was like just a lot. It was a lot too
for
much.
One MacBook laptop to handle as well. Like, shall we say? Like, he hasn't even got like duo monitors or even like an ultra wide. Like,
no,
you
very much a basic bitch.
Rolling with the punches with your MacBook. So it was a good feat, to be honest, on your end.
It was a good feat that it actually even got anywhere near what it did get near.
Yeah.
Because one is not set up, and like you said, I've not even got dual monitors.
No, I've not even got dual monitors.
Dual monitors. So like we did end up streaming. We had no cameras involved because it was just not. It was not going to happen.
That's going to take a little bit more setup, weirdly enough, because we're doing this from a distance, aren't we? Like long. What's the word? Long distance? Long distance? Yeah, just long distance.
Yeah, long distance. So I'm doing it from London, and you're, of course, doing it from...
The Sheffield.
Yes.
The north.
Le Sheffield.
And, so it's something we're going to have to figure out in future anyways. Yeah,
it will definitely come. Like, I feel like after we kind of get, do it a few more times, it'll be fine. But yeah, so we had no cameras because we just couldn't figure it out. It was just too much. It was too stressful. But instead, we had both our audio, which worked well, and we played Croc on the PS1, which was actually really fun.
Really enjoyable.
To play. Really enjoyable. We haven't played Croc. Well, I know I definitely haven't played it since, I don't know, I must have been about 9, like actually played it properly.
Yeah, same. Like, I think I ran through maybe like the first level and thought, this is amazing. Like, I want to sit down and properly play it. But
yeah,
it's finding the time to kind of go back and play it. And there was no excuses this weekend. Like, we just thought, right, Croc, it's the one. And it was so fun. And it was actually mad how much that game has held up. And like, I think all we ever do on this podcast is mention Croc at least every like episode. But it was really fun. And quite challenging at some parts.
Let's not go there. No, it held up really well, and it was challenging in some parts. And I actually like managed to relive some childhood moments because I was explaining to you midstream how there is a platform that was hidden and I could never get onto it. And we were discussing whether or not it was just like a piece of leftover geometry and whether or not it would actually be something we could interact with. But I accidentally fell off the cliff and landed on it, and I took it to a secret level, and here we are. So it was really fun.
Question.
It did. So it was really fun to play. So we played through roughly half of it, maybe a bit more than half of it. And next week are going to finish it off. So if you are listening and you like to watch streams and stuff, then please do check out our Twitch, which is it TG Breakdown as well?
Yeah, TG Breakdown, just
It
on
is.
Twitch.
So
yeah.
please check out.
Also,
Yeah, it's
if
TG Breakdown. So please do check out
who
TG
was there
Breakdown
was watching
on
it.
Twitch.
I feel like our mics have gone like really out of sync.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. I started talking and you said like, yeah, the TG Breakdown like 3 times, but in like the exact same tone. And I was like, hang on a sec, like.
I started saying it, and then you stopped, and then you started saying it, and I was like, oh, I'll be quiet. But then I didn't know what was happening, and then your face went funny, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait.
Oh my god, all the technical issues just are coming into play right now.
No, it doesn't help that you don't have like any internet.
Okay, let's throw some shade, thanks.
So yeah, let's just do that. Carrie has very basic bitch internet, but it's okay. We love her nonetheless. So yeah, so check it. So if you do fancy joining the stream or anything, because the people that came last time, the people that came yesterday, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of like bizarre conversations, which was good, and people got to see some Croc gameplay. Exactly. So if you'd like to see us play Lara Croc, then please do pop along next week. And yeah, so yeah, we've got Twitch up and running. We have videos going on to YouTube, and obviously we're still posting here. So yeah,
busy bees. Boys. Busy excited bees. Tell you who's not as busy as we thought they should have been.
Yeah, go on, tell us.
Let's move on to Nintendo. And Nintendo, like what? Like I don't know.
Nintendon't.
You are
Nintendon't.
Nintendon't, exactly.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't know. I'm sorry, Nintendo, but that reveal that everyone's been waiting for like a year, to me, felt a little bit flat. And we had some agreement in the chat, didn't we, as well, yesterday on Twitch? A lot of people are feeling that way.
We did. Nintendo didn't do anything. I'm going to try and fit that in as many times
I'm starting to try and think now. Let's give it some time.
Give it some time. Nintendo didn't do anything. It was, I mean, okay, it wasn't completely terrible, but the thing is, I've not followed Nintendo Directs for a while, but from what I know, they don't do them very often. It's not like PlayStation State of Play or like Xbox when they release their games and do like a whole thing, like a showcase. They're not as regular, are they, as the other consoles, Nintendo?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, they, to be honest, when it first came out, they were a little bit more regular, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. But now, yeah, they've definitely slowed it down. And I think that says a lot about where they're standing in like this whole platform race, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously we had COVID, so fair enough. Like that's going to obviously slow things down. We totally get that. Like that can't be helped. But what was revealed, I don't feel like I was expecting to be revealed, you know? Like I thought I was just expecting a bit more, which is really sad.
The sad thing is you weren't alone in that. I think a lot of people were expecting more. And like we said, it wasn't completely awful. It's not as if they just released utter crap. It was just weird choices, and a lot of the things that people were expecting and would have liked, even just really a hint of news or just a sprinkling of news, they got like literally nothing. So starting off with a big one is obviously people were expecting some kind of reveal of Breath of the Wild 2, or at least, I don't even know, maybe some gameplay footage, maybe just some conversation about it. But what they did is, if you saw it, is they just had one of the directors come on screen and basically just apologize. It was really bizarre. He just kind of, I felt like there was, I'm glad they acknowledged it in some way, I guess, but I almost felt like there was no point saying anything. If you had nothing to say, don't say anything. Because he literally, exactly, he literally came on screen and went, hi, I know everyone wants to see some information about Breath of the Wild 2, but we haven't got any. So anyway, here's Skyward Sword. Like, it was just really like, I was like, all right then,
and I
bizarre.
feel like Skyward Sword, out of all the games that they could have brought for Zelda, like especially the anniversary and everything, that probably isn't like number one. I mean, for me, number one would have been like Ocarina of Time, and maybe that's too obvious, but like,
or Majora's Mask.
If it's obvious, then yeah. And Majora's Mask, like, I've never played that. I really, really want to play that. Wind Waker as well, big popular title. What, Skyward Sword? People don't like it, you know? Like, I mean, I personally have never played it, and I'm sure people do like it and it's good, but at the same time, there was a lot of like moaning about the controls of it. It was very like awkward to play, and it just wasn't one of the best titles. So it just felt kind of weird. That was the only game they announced. I don't get it. It's kind of a bit of smack in the face, I think, when you look at what Mario's got as well.
Oh, I know. That was the thing. It's weird because, like you said, a lot of people didn't like Skyward Sword when it was released on the Wii, I believe, because of the controls. Because obviously, a lot of Wii games were very gimmicky, and everything was about moving your nunchuck in every which way direction. So they were porting. It was really funny because I was watching it in a stream, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're finally bringing Skyward Sword, where you haven't got to use the stupid Wii controls. Like, I can't wait." And they were like, "Instead, like, we're keeping the controls, and you have to move them a different way, and you can do this and move your Joy-Con instead." And the whole chat went completely dead, and everyone was like, "Oh, for God's sake, like, can you not just have it control like an ordinary game?" And then they did reveal at the very end that they were not necessarily keeping the same control scheme as most Zelda games, like a button press, but it was kind of like you slide the Joy-Con to the left to swap your sword to the left and to the right. A little bit like the Catwoman controls from PS2.
Oh my God, here we go.
Like, it literally is.
Flashback.
Flashback Friday. So yeah, and Skyward Sword was a bit of a bizarre choice. I mean, the fact that they haven't brought back like Wind Waker or anything yet, considering they were GameCube titles and like Super Mario Sunshine was a GameCube title, you thought they would have just ported a bunch of them at the same time. But
yeah, I feel like they're really kind of lacking on the whole like GameCube front, because GameCube was brilliant. Like I always wanted one and I never had one, but like there's a lot of titles on there that I really enjoyed and wanted to play, you know, like Twin Snakes. Like I'm still begging for that to just make its way to the Switch. I mean, I would prefer the PlayStation version, but you know, I'll take Twin Snakes. Like, it's not a bad game, obviously. So,
but that's a big source of confusion. Like, where are the heavy hitters? Like the big games that GameCube had. Like, I don't know. I'm very new to the Switch and like the Switch store, so I'm not sure what's completely available on there at the moment. But there's like things like that. Like, where are the kind of like the very big GameCube games that should have been ported to Switch earlier? Like we said, like Wind Waker, or like I've just gone a blank. What did you just say? What did you just say? Twin Snakes.
Twin Snakes. Yeah, that was it. I was like, what did I say?
What did you just say? It's been a long one. But maybe there's a licensing issue with, you know, Kojima and Konami and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities, and instead they're releasing stuff like Mario Golf. Now, I will say I did text you at the time, and I was like, okay, this does look fun. But really, we're still just relying on Mario to keep Nintendo floating?
That's almost what it feels like, isn't it? I feel like for some reason recently, like they are throwing so much at Mario, and maybe it's because they feel like it's more child friendly, and maybe Zelda's kind of, I'm not saying it's not child friendly because like it's not really bad, but it's definitely a little bit more complex, like the games. And maybe they're kind of thinking, well, we feel like our audience is more for like a younger generation now.
Mario sells basically, doesn't he?
Mario does sell, but so does Zelda. And like Breath of the Wild is literally like 60 quid still in most shops. That's another issue as well we need to land on. It's just the pure cost of like the games. But we spoke about that before, and I know it's nothing to do with the Direct, but I think we were just all expecting some like big things, you know. Everyone was like, oh my God, it's a 50-minute Direct, like 50 minutes. And the only thing, yeah, exactly. It was normally, I'm pretty sure it's normally like 10-15 minutes long. So they had like basically 5 shows in one, you know. And it's like, what did we really get? Like, what did we get that's we're all really hyped and ready for from Nintendo? Like, not a new Zelda, not a new bloody Pokemon, you know what I mean? No, like, a few Smash characters, which, you know, great for people that love Smash, if you're the friend that has Smash. But for me, it doesn't sell me. And I guess I've kind of just fallen a little bit out of love with Nintendo at the moment. Like, I still love my Switch, and I do pretty much check it every day or most of the time, but I'm just kind of getting more and more a bit like, oh, like I just always want from them, you know, like I never feel satisfied from them, which is a bit of a shame.
This is the thing, like even the Smash reveal that they did, again, I mean, I've never played the games that they come from, those two characters, well, the one character, the two characters in one, shall we say, Pyro and, or forgive me, Pyra and something else. The problem is with that is that, again, if you're adding it to Smash, it's another sword character. Now, your last sworded character was an icon of Sephiroth from the Final Fantasy franchise, and then you're going to jump to this random like maybe this is an iconic character in her own right, but I've never heard of her. I've never really interacted with the game series. It's another sword wielder for Smash. There's loads of them now, and they're all from the same franchises. It just seems a bit like if you were going to announce another character, make it someone special. Like, again, like Sephiroth was someone special. It was like, oh my god, finally the legendary villain from like loads of Final Fantasy games. Like, that's fantastic. And it just seems a bit of like a wasted opportunity. So yeah, and we kind of said a few things when we were streaming before about Nintendo kind of just not, we're just kind of missing the mark. I mean, you even said that you are considering basically unsubscribing from Nintendo Direct. No, what's their streaming service?
They're online. They're online. And I know it's only like £6 a month. No, £6 every 3 months or something. That's what I pay. I think I pay £7 for 3 months, which isn't bad. But realistically, when I think about what I get with PlayStation, this month we got Control, which is a really good game, Concrete Genie, which is a good game. We get obviously with having the PS5, we get all the classics, and I don't know, it just always feels a little bit more worth my while, and it's more expensive, and I don't know what it is. There's just something about it just feels more worth my while. Whereas with like Nintendo, it's like, well, they don't really have a good online multiplayer situation because you have to kind of link up to your phone to talk to your friends, so that's almost kind of pointless. You don't really get any free games out of it. The games that you do have on emulation are, they get in there, they're getting better, but really, like, is it kind of that great? I feel like they should have had a bigger library to start with in the first place. And everyone I've even spoke to have just said, I just cancelled it because it's money coming out my account, and what's the point? You don't really get any discounts either. You don't get any like double discounts and things like that. So, not that I can remember anyways. So yeah, I'm probably just going to cancel that. So, because it's not really keeping me involved. And I didn't watch obviously the direct live either, because I guess I just realised that it's never going to kind of hit me when I used to get excited for them, and now I just don't. I'm like So yeah, I think Nintendo definitely need to kind of take a step back and think, right, we need to start giving people what they really want, because Nintendo were like the leading dogs for years. Then they kind of fell off the map, but then the Switch came back and it was like, right, Nintendo's here to like take the world by storm, and now we're kind of falling off again. And unless they reveal like a Switch Pro or something that doesn't have drift, we'll see. Oh god.
But see, that's like another thing, like you just said, Nintendo ruled the world. Like, they are the fathers of gaming, basically. Like, modern day gaming probably wouldn't really exist without Nintendo's influence. Like, they brought us some of our first home consoles, not the first ones, but like some of our first mainstream home consoles. Like, they launched massive mascots of gaming, like people like Mario and Legend and Link and stuff. So they were at the forefront for so long, and now it's like, you can't be at the top forever, fine, but now I feel like they're not even just in the middle, they're like proper at the bottom, and it's really confusing. Like, all of their fans are asking for certain things and they're just not delivering. And I don't really know why. I don't know what's in their way, whether it's licenses, whether it's money. I mean, from all the media, it seems like it's money. But there's so much at your disposal to raise money. I don't understand why you can't raise that kind of money. Like, a lot of people for this Direct wanted Breath of the Wild 2, wanted Bayonetta 3, all this kind of stuff. They got no news on Breath of the Wild 2. Bayonetta 3 wasn't even mentioned. And those are like two massive games. And Bayonetta wasn't even a Nintendo game. It was brought to them. So, like, again, a massive game that was brought to them that they've had a chance to develop and do stuff with, nothing. So what we got instead was more like Zelda pimping, but the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword themed Joy-Cons were announced. Lovely. Great. Mario Golf. And then like random games that haven't even got full titles. So this one really made me laugh. Project Triangle Strategy. Now, that was a very weird trailer, a very bizarre game, it seemed like, and also it looked like very slapdash. Like, why are you going to announce it when it hasn't been developed properly, it hasn't got a title? It just seemed like, what are you actually announcing? Because that's bound to go through 17 more changes before it becomes what it's going to be. So it was just like, we're busy. It was bizarre. They're re-releasing the Ninja Gaiden games, which, okay, for fans of Ninja Gaiden, no problem. The two biggest announcements, I would say, and I only really cared about one of them, was the Fall Guys announcement and the Splatoon 3 announcement. Now, I don't play Splatoon 3. I mean, I don't play Splatoon. I'm not really a fan of it. I know that it's one of their big franchises, so fine. But it seemed like that wasn't the one that needed to be announced right then and there. It was a bit like all this hype for Splatoon 3. And it's not as if it's like a story game. It's like the same thing each time. It's like a Smash, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, it's like a multiplayer, like, kind of battle game, isn't it? With paint and everything. And yeah, it's really, really fun. And it was definitely worth mentioning, but I don't know. I don't think it was kind of meant to be in, like, any form of limelight.
No. It's their Fortnite, basically, and they're trying to market it as such. Like, their, like, Battle Royale moment, but...
I almost feel like all we do is kind of rip into Nintendo recently, and that's really unfortunate because
is that our fault or is that theirs?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's not on us, is it? It's on them, but
it's on them.
It's definitely becoming a bit more of a common occurrence right now. We have very negative opinions at the moment in Nintendo. We both still love them. Like, we love our Switches. Like, do not get us wrong. We just feel like, I'm sure everyone can agree, like, they need a little bit more from them, you know, like they are kind of drip feeding the wrong content at the moment, but maybe they'll blow us all out of the water and it'll be a surprise big Zelda package or something. Like, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Nintendo do often just out of nowhere drop little gems, which, you know, we're still waiting for, which might be quite cool. I mean, like we said, this direct wasn't awful. There was still some fun things in it, like Fall Guys. We said before on our Fall Guys podcast that Fall Guys is a game that we can see on the Switch, and it should have been like on the Switch. So obviously,
on the Switch from day one,
yeah. Like, obviously, it took its time for money reasons, for development reasons, whatever reasons it took its time for. Fine, it's here now. Well, it will be in the summer. But yeah, like those kind of things, like, oh, good. Like, Fall Guys, a really popular multiplayer game that's not another battle royale shooter. Oh, coming to the Switch, fantastic. Now, I have it on PlayStation, but I would also consider, depending on the price of it, because it was free on PlayStation, I haven't really bought it, so I'd consider paying a little bit to have it on my Switch and then enjoying Fall Guys on a more portable basis. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things you can play like on the train or, you know,
I feel like I would
sitting in
play
bed
it
or whatever.
A hell of a lot more, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it just feels like we said, it feels like a Switch game. So to be honest, that is probably one of more of a highlight for me from that from the direct is definitely getting my hands on Fall Guys for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just having a little look here at some of the other things they announced. I did watch it. So then there was Mario Golf as well.
Okay, so this is the problem. Also, sorry, Nintendo.
Go on.
The fact that we're having to kind of look things up and think, what was it we actually heard? Like, whereas when we spoke about the state of play, I can't even talk. We may not have remembered the names, but we were like, oh, that cat game. Oh, that game with the old guy and the young guy. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a lot more to kind of bounce off. It almost feels like, it's just taken a long time to warm up. Like,
it's just not exciting.
Console. It's really not exciting. Maybe it is for little kids. Maybe we're just too past it. But I don't think we are, because Nintendo their one strength has always been somehow finding a way to make a game console or game like for the oldest of people and for the youngest people at the same time. Like, everyone enjoys Mario Kart, whether you are 3 or 300. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can, we said before, like, you know, if I'm sitting playing a game, you wouldn't give your nan the control to Resident Evil, but you'd give her the control to like Mario Party or like Mario Kart. And be like, oh, go on, nan, have a go. Like, it's a family friendly thing, right? So like, there's so much that they have like actually done, and it can be extremely exciting. But the thing is, it's just not. It's just not. It's just not. Like, yeah. It's just the fact that we're having to look things up just shows that it wasn't really exciting, and it didn't really grab us, which is a real shame, because I'm looking through the list now, and no, there's nothing really I want to talk about, because, I mean, Outer Wilds, 2 Famicom detective games, Samurai Warrior 5, Legend of Mana Remastered. Okay, Legend of Mana, great game, remastered, but that's been remastered previously, so we're remastering it again for no reason. Okay, cool. New Monster Hunter Rise trailer. Okay, lots of fan of Monster Hunter, cool. The Borderland game, that to me was weird. You seemed quite happy about that. That was a bit bizarre to me, that having Borderlands be a Telltale series, which is often like an RPG story.
Like it's almost like a heavy rain moment, isn't it? You don't really play it, you just kind of experience it.
Yeah, it's just dialogue driven. It's an interactive story. I really, really enjoyed Borderlands Telltale game. It's really funny. And I've always thought that the Telltale games deserved a home on the Switch, because I feel like that's another thing. Like the Switch is really kind of running low in those interactive story games, in my opinion. So although I've played it, and I wouldn't really be inclined to buy it again. If I hadn't have played it, I would definitely have bought it. Say I've only played like one episode, so I knew what I was getting into, sort of thing. But yeah, no, it is really, really good. Outer Wilds, I've got a feeling that they're gonna have the same issue for some reason, that like Outer Worlds, I think, recently came out, and it just looked really bad until they managed to patch it and stuff. So I think that's always a risk with these bigger games that are coming to it.
Yeah.
Which is probably another like thing. But, they were starting to kind of edge these different games that we could stream. So we've got Hitman on there, we've got Control on there, which actually play really well. I would like to have seen a lot more to do with what they're going to do with the streaming side of things, because I think that's a whole new gate of what's going to get like a lot of people picking up that Switch again, being able to play like Resi 7 and things like that on their Switch. So it's a bit sad they didn't really mention anything on that. There's just a lot we want, isn't there, really? Which is a good thing, but it's a bad thing in the sense that like we want a lot and we're not getting it. So the balance is quite off.
That's exactly it. And to go back to what we were saying just a moment ago, because I went a little bit of a blank, but I just remembered what I was going to say. But with the fact that like how Nintendo have been so successful with having games apply to everybody. Also, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I am a new owner to a Switch. I tried to get one for months and I could not, because it was sold out everywhere, and it kept coming back in stock and it kept selling out instantly, like straight away. This means that, there's not, all these people buying them are not kids. Like, they're for everybody. Everyone has nothing to do, and everyone's like, a Switch is a good console, let's get it. So at the moment, they're probably like riding high on their Switch fan base. Like, there's so many people that have one, and they're just not really, not delivering. So they have a really diverse user base, and there's not a lot to, there's not a lot of new stuff coming to excite people that have just bought one. Because at the moment, I was really sucked into mine, and now I feel like I haven't touched it in a while, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when I play it, I'm obsessed with it for months, and then I fall off it quite easily. So that's always been kind of like an issue for me. I think it is just a case of them needing to find like some kind of balance, because we know they've got it in them, but they're just not quite pushing the right buttons, and people want to work with them, because why would you not want to work with like the biggest selling console? You know, like, it's like, well, it sold a lot. I don't know if it sold as quick as the PS5 did, but it definitely was like kind of in that kind of zone, like. Yeah.
And even if it didn't have the speed, it's got the numbers, because it's been selling out constantly since it came out.
You can play anything in the palm, well, not anything, but you can play a lot of stuff in the palm of your hand. Like, who doesn't want that,
So what developer wouldn't be clambering to have their game on the Switch? Like, and even though I'm excited by some of the things they're bringing, like they're re-releasing the Ghouls and Goblins game, like from the SNES days, which is fun and fine, but it's hard to even play the originals on their emulators that they've released. Like, there's not a lot of consistency with their stuff. And even though it's fun to have these things, like, where's your new stuff? Where's just like, it was just a little bit dry. It's a shame, because we do love Nintendo and we do love their consoles and love their games. Like, I recently found, if you follow us on social media, I recently found my Game Boy with a load of games, and that was my weekend. So, we have loved Nintendo for so long. I just wish they would keep up the pace a bit.
I agree with you there.
Also, it made me laugh. Did you see on the thing, on the Direct, as they were doing it, there was that guy that just kept clicking for every new revive. He was like, and coming next is this. Like, and they kept doing the Switch sound every like few seconds he was clicking. It's like, what is going on?
You'll get used to it. They're really colourful with their actual presentation. Like, I do enjoy the way they present these Directs. Like, they have that on par with them. Like, they are good and enjoyable to watch. It's just always a bit like, oh, every time something comes up, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh. I mean, like, having Mario stuff go into Animal Crossing, did that need to be in the Direct? Did that need to be a reveal? Surely that could have just been a little notification within you know.
Yeah, I feel like that could have definitely been like that little notification, like here's what's new, and you're like,
yeah,
oh,
like
cool.
Mario's coming. You'd be like, oh, sick! I love it. I'm a very fan of it. Like, I'm not gonna see that they're getting new skins in Animal Crossing, but like, oh my god, I need to go buy Animal Crossing because they're getting Mario skins. Jesus,
Animal Crossing
like,
is amazing though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like
I'm like, just put that out there. It's
just
so
put it out
good.
there. I've actually got quite a few friends that play it, and not hating on it at all. I think it's a very good franchise. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Animal Crossing, the likelihood is you probably already own Animal Crossing. If Animal Crossing is not my type of game, a Mario skin is not going to make it my type of game. So why does that need to be announced?
Mm-hmm.
Or that there was quite a lot of time spent on it. That could have been a 3-second. Guess what? All this Mario stuff is coming to all these different games, and it would just be like bang, 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 bang. Like, here's what's happening. But instead, it got like a moment. And even though that's nice, it was like, I don't.
They're either scraping the barrel, or they're kind of pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, and they're going to do like a few big reveals, just totally random, like the Mario trio of games. I'm pretty sure that kind of came out of the woodwork. You know, like it was just this random game that had popped up, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, like that's happening."
But it's going away soon, which I think is really funny. It goes away in March, isn't it, Mario?
Yeah, because I
March
was
the
like,
8th or
I need
something?
to buy it. Like, I was like, oh, and then I thought, you know what? Like,
No.
I haven't got the money for that. Like, for that price at the time, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing it.
Well,
I'm
that's
not
another
forcing
thing.
myself.
The money issue. I know we said it before, but like when you think about it, some of the games they're releasing are GameCube ports, and they're like charging £59 for this.
Which hasn't really even been that polished. Like,
no, it's a straight port. Like, not even had it been tweaked in any way to run smoother on the Switch. Like I've already said to you before about how I've played Sunshine on my Switch, and sometimes this console struggled to keep up with the game. And like that wasn't cheap, that All Stars. And I get it. I had 3 games in there, but not all of them are offering you 3 games in there. Some of you are offering you just one, and it's like 50, 60 quid, and you're like, I'm actually paying double what I paid 5 years ago, 15 years ago for this game. And I still have my GameCube, and I still have that game. Or I bought the NES Mini or whatever, and I have those ROMs. So like, why am I paying so much money for the same thing?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? That is the question. And then they get annoyed when people do have these ROMs, you know, in whichever manner people have them, whether like they're games that they've just, you know, ripped and things like that, because they're getting annoyed about it. But it's like, this is what you should be doing. Like, don't get annoyed that people are, you know, and then you've got like faulty hardware that you've had ever since it was released with your Joy-Con drift. Like, you've got to kind of take a step back and realise, I think it's more, you know, when like you just think you're really cool because like everything you've done's good, but you're like neglecting the thought that actually you've made a lot of mistakes getting to the top, and you need to kind of address those now, you know?
Yeah.
That's almost sort of like what it's like a bit with Nintendo at the moment, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree. I feel like what would be a smart move for them right now, if while they were in the middle of making all these, would be to make like a GameCube Mini or an N64 Mini, and then they could release that in 2 separate ways. They could release a package on the Switch where rather than buy the Mini, you could download those games for the same price, like the ROMs of those games onto your Switch. Or if you're a collector, for example, you go out and you buy the N64 Mini or whatever, and then you've got like the same thing like the NES Mini, the SNES Mini, or the Mini PlayStation. And let's not talk about the Mini PlayStation, but like, you know what I mean? That then gives you, the collector, the chance to get their own little figure of it that works, or just the gamer to download the ROMs onto their Switch and play. Like, I don't know why, you know, they're not doing things like that.
Why it's such a struggle, because
yeah,
it's not like they can say, you know, well, we haven't got the ROMs anymore or whatever. It's like, no, you have, because the internet has them. Like,
exactly,
they are available, so you can just kind of take them if you wanted to and sell them. Like, they're your shit. It's your shit. Yeah,
literally. And that's the beauty with most Nintendo games, is that they don't have third-party people often doing their stuff. Nintendo publishes and develops and does everything themselves. They're kind of a one-man band for like a lot of their games. Like, you know, you don't see like Crystal Dynamics developing Mario. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all them, so they own everything. So I don't know why they're not just like pimping it out. I'm a marketing genius. Like, what, Nintendo, call me. Just no, you know what? Just take these ideas for free. Just have them. Just release. Just do what we're saying. Have them and do it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah. Just tweet me afterwards.
But yeah, that is the fun, and that is our opinion on the Direct. Unfortunately, it is mostly negative, but like there is some really nice things. Don't get us wrong, but it is unfortunately mostly negative today.
It is, and we're sorry about that.
It's been a bit of a dark podcast. We do apologise. We love you.
It's been rainy and cloudy. Please have a good day. But yeah, so hey ho. like you said,
know.
that was the direct, and that was that. So I think we'll probably, we're going to have a bit of a shorter one today, so I think we'll probably leave it there.
Yeah.
We've been negative enough. Now that we've slagged everything off, we're going to go.
We need to just stop.
Yeah, we just need to stop. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the Nintendo Direct if you watched it. If you didn't, give it a watch and see if you agree with us or see if you don't agree with us. Most of you may probably have similar opinions, but if you have any different opinions, then please feel free to let us know on some of our socials. So we do have Twitter at TG Breakdown and Instagram at TG Breakdown Podcast. And we now will be doing some Twitch streaming. So we did one yesterday and we'll be doing one next week at TG Breakdown as well on Twitch. So if you feel like following us, or I don't know, I'm new to Twitch, follow us, like, subscribe, whatever you do on there. I don't know. Just follow along for the journey. Whatever you do on all these things. Basically. Just come say hi. So yeah, then you can tell us if we're talking crap or not. But we shall see. So we hope you've enjoyed listening to us be, I don't know, as negative as we can be.
Being our best negative selves.
Yeah, that's what we like to say. And we hope you have a great week, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.